Good morning. Last class we discussed determination of shear strength parameters and also the drainage conditions under which we can perform the shear test. Now, based on the shear strength parameters determination concept by using direct shear test, triaxial compression test and unconfined compression test, let us solve numerical problems. Compute the shear strength of soil along a horizontal plane at a depth of 5 meter in a deposit of sand having the following particulars: angle of internal friction, pi is equal to 36 degree, dry unit weight gamma d is equal to 17 kilonewton per meter cube, specific gravity G is equal to 2.7. Assume the groundwater table is at depth of 2.4 meter from the ground level. Full stop. Also determine change in shear strength if water table rises up to ground level. it is asked to compute the shear strength of soil along a horizontal plane at a depth of 5 meter in a deposit of sand having the following particulars. Angle of interpolation pi is equal to 36 degree, dry unit weight of soil gamma d 17 kilonewton per meter cube, specific gravity of soil G is equal to 2.7. It is given that assume the groundwater table is at a depth of 2.4 meter from the ground level. Also asked to determine change in shear strength if water table rises up to ground level. Here we need to determine shear strength, and to determine shear strength we have to consider the effective stress. It is asked to calculate shear strength at a depth of 5 meter below the ground surface, and water table is at a depth of 2.4 meter from ground level. So let us write the field condition. So total depth is 5 meter, depth at which shear strength is to be determined. Water table is at a depth of 2.4 meter. So 2.4 meter means it is below this, the remaining depth is 2.6 meter. Given pi is equal to 36 degree, gamma d is equal to 17 kilonewton per meter cube. So G is equal to 2.7. So as it is required to find shear strength at a depth of the 5 meter, when water table is at a depth of 2.4 meter, here first you have to calculate normal stress, then the effective stress. Normal stress at a depth of 5 meter is equal to the unit weight of soil above that point multiplied by the depth, and unit weight of the water multiplied by the depth. Here we have to consider saturated unit weight for the depth 2.6 meter, and above 2.6 meter, 2.4 meter, for that we have to consider dry unit weight. Now let us calculate the normal stress, total normal stress. Total normal stress at 5 meter depth, that is sigma is equal to height multiplied by unit weight of soil. Unit weight of soil is saturated unit weight we require, but we don't have saturated unit weight. First we need to calculate saturated unit weight. To calculate saturated unit weight, so we need we have G. We need to calculate the void ratio. So void ratio can be calculated by using the given G and gamma d. Void ratio E is equal to G divided by gamma d into gamma w minus 1, that is equal to 2.7 that divided by 17 into 9.81 minus 1. Solving we get void ratio is equal to 0.56. Next, total normal stress or total stress at 5 meter depth, sigma is equal to 2.6 into, before that you need to calculate saturated unit weight. saturated radiant weight gamma saturated is equal to G plus C divided by 1 plus E into gamma W, that is equal to 2.7 plus 0.56, that divided by 1 plus 0.56 into 9.81. Solving will get gamma saturated, that is equal to 20.5 kilonewton per meter cube. Therefore, normal stress at 5 meter depth, that is sigma is equal to, normal stress at this level is equal to 2.6 into saturated unit weight, I can write here gamma saturated. Gamma saturated is equal to 20.5 kilonewton per meter cube. 20.5 kilonewton per meter cube plus 2.4 above our table, that multiplied by 17, that is equal to 94.1 kilonewton per meter cube. Next, pore water pressure U is equal to, you can see here, water table is at a depth of 2.4 meter below ground level. If you insert piezometer at the depth of 5 meter, water level will rise only up to 2.6 meter from bottom. Therefore, U is equal to 2.6 into 9.81 unit weight of water, that is equal to 25.51 kilonewton per meter square. Therefore, effective stress is equal to effective stress sigma bar is equal to sigma minus U, that is equal to sigma 94.1 minus 25.5, that is equal to 68.51 kilonewton per meter square. 59 kilonewton per meter square. Therefore, shear strength tau is equal to C plus sigma tan pi. Here it is sigma is sigma bar tan pi. The given soil is a sandy soil, hence C is equal to 0. For sand, C is equal to 0. Therefore, gamma is equal to sigma bar is equal to 68.59 into tan of 36 degree, that is equal to 49.83 kilonewton per meter square. This is when water table is at the depth of 2.4 meter below ground level, effective stress we calculated. Therefore, shear strength at a depth of 5 meter is equal to 49.83 kilonewton per meter square. If water table rises, is asked to calculate change in shear strength if water table rises up to the ground level. If water table rises to ground level, Now let us consider that condition. So total depth is 5 meter. So water table rises got up to ground level, is gamma saturated. Gamma saturated is equal to 20.51 kilonewton per meter cube. Here we have to consider saturated unit weight, and pi remains same. Pi is equal to 36 degree. Sigma normal stress, total normal stress sigma is equal to 5 into 20.5, that is equal to 102.5 kilonewton per meter square. Then pore water pressure, here pore water pressure, if you insert piezometer, pore water pressure will be that height of 5 meter, that is 5 into 9.81 is equal to 49.05 kilonewton per meter square. Therefore, effective stress sigma bar is equal to 102.5 minus 49.05, that is equal to 53.45 kilonewton per meter square. Then shear strength tau is equal to C plus sigma bar tan pi, that is equal to, again C is 0 here, 53.45 into tan 36 degree, that is equal to 38.83 kilonewton per meter square. Therefore, change in shear stress or shear strength is equal to 49.83 minus 38.83, that is equal to 11 kilonewton per meter square. So if water table is at a depth of 2.4 meter below ground level, by considering the effective stress, the worked out shear strength value is 49.83 kilonewton per meter square. Suppose if water table rises up to the ground level, the worked out shear strength will be 38.83 kilonewton per meter square. Therefore, change in shear strength is equal to 49.83 minus 38.8, that is 11 kilonewton per meter square. So this problem is a combination of shear strength and the effective stress concept that we already discussed, and also we solved the numerical problem on effective stress, how to calculate effective stress by using normal stress and pore water pressure. We also learned that how to draw the pressure distribution diagram. Now let us consider another problem. The direct shear test conducted on a soil specimens gives the following results at failure. Next, test number means trial number 1, 2, 3, normal stress, in kilonewton per meter square, shear stress, again in kilonewton per meter square, normal stress is 100 and corresponding shear stress 50, normal stress 150, shear stress 70, normal stress 200, shear stress 90. Draw the Morse envelope determine shear parameters and for any one failure point and for any one failure point orientation of principal planes and stresses. Now, the direct shear in shear test conducted on a soil specimen gives the following results at failure. Normal stress is given, shear stress is given. Failure taken place due to the critical combination of this normal and shear stress. So, 3 trials of tests were conducted, and for that is asked to draw the Morse envelope and determine shear parameters, and for any one failure point the orientation of principal planes and stresses to be determined. First we need to plot the graph.
First we need to calculate the shear strength parameters. For that we have to draw the a graph along x-axis normal stress, and along y-axis select scale. Always to plot graph in shear strength, let us select same scale along x and y axis. Means select 20, 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200. This is normal stress axis. Then shear stress axis 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. To obtain envelope, Morse envelope, consider normal stress and shear stress for each trial separately. For the first trial, normal stress was 100 and corresponding shear stress is 50. For 100, it is 50. Get 1 point. Next, for the second trial, it is normal stress is 150. Come somewhere here, 120, 140, 150. Then shear stress is 70. Next, it is for the third trial, it is normal stress is 200 and shear stress is 90. Now, if we join all the points, by means of straight line, so this will be the strength envelope. Next, if we measure the shear strength parameters pi and C from graph pi is equal to 22.16 degree, maybe it is 23 degree, and C is equal to 10 kilonewton per meter square. So let us write the details after completing the Morse envelope, and then after completing the Morse circle and marking of that principal planes, principal stresses. Next, the first part of the problem is over. Next, for any one failure point, to determine orientation of principal planes and principal stresses. Failure point, there are three failure points. This is first trial failure points, second failure point and third failure point. So now, draw a perpendicular line to this envelope to meet the abscissa. Let us call this point as say F and call this point as say O. So O is the center of the Morse circle. With O as center, OF as radius, construct Morse circle. This is the Morse circle. Next, we know that in the case of direct shear test, failure plane is a forced plane in the horizontal direction. So we know the failure point. From the failure point, draw horizontal line. We get the failure plane. So this is the failure plane, and let us mark this point as say the P. Join, if you call this point as say A and B, call this as A and B, the commencing and end point of the Morse circle. Join P, B and PA. Now, we can easily mark the principal stresses, then principal planes. It is the distance, horizontal distance between the origin and the starting point of the Morse circle is sigma 3. Then the horizontal distance between starting the origin and end point of the Morse circle is sigma 1. That is, this is a major principal stress. It is OA, then OB, and we can mark the principal planes. So this is theta 3 and this one is theta 1. Here theta 1 is the major principal plane and theta 3 is the minor principal plane. So now we can complete the graph. Morse envelope, next minor principal plane, then major principal plane, and here we have considered this as, let us consider this as center of the small c, the center of the Morse circle. So from the graph we can easily measure major principal stress sigma 1 is equal to OA into scale that is 172.5 kilonewton per meter square. You will get, if it is drawn to the scale and measure, then minor principal stress sigma 3 is equal to, it is OB into scale (68 kilonewton per meter square). Major principal plane that is equal to theta 1, which is measured in the anti-clockwise direction. Can measure and write. It comes to be about 124 degree. Minor principal plane theta 3 is equal to, it's about 35.5 degree. If you construct these test result for this scale, you will get the result sigma 1, sigma 3, theta 1 and theta 3. It can be plotted like this. So we can call this this FP is failure plane. And this is Morse circle. So you can easily solve the problem. So here it involves calculation of shear strength parameters, and again it is calculation, you can say it is calculation of calculation means it is, we have plotted the graph, and from the graph we have measured and written the major minor principal stresses and major and minor principal planes. Let us consider another problem.